Okay, so I had the students start with this equation, which was a little weird because I had only A, B, and C in it. And then I asked them to find the roots, and they should have said x equals negative B plus or minus the square root of B squared minus 4AC all over 2A. So it is the quadratic formula with the A and the B and C in it, and that's it. Is this two answers? Yeah, it is, because it's got a plus and a minus in it. But do you know for sure that it would have two real roots? You're right. How would you know for sure if it had two real roots? Or maybe it's only got one real root. Or maybe it's only got no roots at all that are real. I'm going to put a number in now. 5x squared plus 4x plus 3. How many roots does that have? I don't even want to know what they are. I just want to know how many does it have. Did you find yourself looking at b squared minus 4ac and seeing if it came out positive or negative or 0? That's what you should have been doing. All right, so what was b? B was 4. 4 squared, 16, minus 4 times a, which is 5, times c, which is 3. And that's 16 minus, ooh, that's big. 20 times 3 is 16 minus 60. Oh, do you get it's negative? Do you get that I don't even care what the answer is? I know that there's not any real roots because this came out negative. Raise your hand if you had that one right. Awesome. If they asked for the discriminant, you should have said that it was negative 44. That is the discriminant. Just that number. It's going to be really sad when some kid takes the square root of it and says, that's my discriminant. Nope. 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 That's not the discriminant. Discriminants don't have the square root. It's just the b squared minus 4c. All right. So if I just wanted the answer and I needed it as a decimal and I got down to this, 2 plus and minus the square root of 10 all over 5, do you think this will reduce nicely? No, but can I get a decimal for it? Yes. Somebody quick. This is a race. Find the square root of 10. Go. I'll be impressed, whoever's fastest. What? Say it louder. 3.16. Good enough. Now, take a minute and tell me the two decimal answers. I thought there's only one decimal, 3.16. Nope, do the problem once with plus and once with minus. You'll get two different answers. Some days in this class, I feel like we try to cover too much. And there's other days that are probably a little too easy. Today's one of those. Because if you know how to do this, and you know the quadratic formula, today's really easy. You just do the quadratic formula, you get something like this, then you change it to a decimal, and then you do 2 plus 3.16 divided by 5, and 2 minus 3.16 divided by 5. And this one guaranteed is going to be the smaller answer. So when they ask for that, actually I think today's just a worksheet, not a school quiz. So you'll just write down your two decimal answers, and this one's smaller. So that's 5.16 divided by 5, which is like 1 point, I don't know, did anybody do it? 1.32? Oh, 0.032. Okay. 1.032. And how about the other one? 0.232? Yeah. Okay. All right. What are those? They're four things. They're the x-intercepts. So if you put them in a point, they'd be comma 0 because their y is 0. Okay, so they're x-intercepts, they're roots, they're zeros, and they're called the solutions of the equation. All right, the only other thing I think that could trip you up is if they wrote the equation funny. X squared plus 6x equals 7. And they're like, well, that doesn't look like all the other ones. I don't know what to do. What would you do? Don't even do it. Just tell me what you would do. Subtract 7, so you'd set it equal to 0, right? So what if it equaled 7x minus 14x squared? Then what would you do? Add the 14x squared and subtract the 7x. So this would be 15x squared plus 6x equals 7x. And then, but if I subtract 7x, there'll be nothing over there. It's okay. It can be equal to 0. In fact, I want it to be equal to 0. But wait, 15x squared minus x, there's no, like, there's no third number. Isn't it supposed to be like plus 2? Couldn't you just put plus 0 if you wanted to? If you really, really wanted to know what the c was, you could just throw a 0 in there. So then a is 5 and b is -1 and c is 0. You could do that if you really wanted to use the quadratic formula, but I wouldn't. I wouldn't want to use the quadratic formula on this one, because if you can factor it, you should. And watch what happens. X comes out, I get 5x minus 1. And other than the few kids on the test who said x equals 1 for this one, does x really equal 1 for that one? No. If you put a 1 in there, it's not going to make it equal 0. Well, how do you do that kind then? You go 5x minus 1 needs to equal 0 to find my other answer. Add 1, you got 5x equals 1, x equals 1/5. There's my two answers. Don't let the one on the outside freak you out. It's just what makes that part 0? 0. What makes this part 0? 1/5 does. Those are my two answers. Those are my x-intercepts. So, this is still a quadratic. What's its A? 1. What's its B? 0. What's its C? 0. But if you can factor it, you should. And I could factor x squared into x times x. And then it's like, what makes this thing 0? 0. Are there two answers on this one? No, it's just 0 and 0. They're both 0, so the answer is 0. Ooh, this one would only have one x-intercept. What does that make? It makes it the vertex. Very good. Because see, if you know that it touches at 0, look, it's also the vertex. All right. That's it. Now you got a bunch of work time. You and a calculator are going to get this worksheet done in like 10 minutes. You'll have like leftover time in math class. Unheard of. All right. If you get stuck, ask the kid next to you or come on up and ask. I want to help.